Hello, everybody. How are you doing? And here we are reaching really close to December, and I always like to sit and contemplate about how the year went. And gosh, there's so many things going on. And now is the time to start contemplating, reviewing last year, this whole year of 2022, and plan for 2023. And so I thought it'd be very timely to sit and talk about what that looks like, how to dream and plan your life. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And hopefully you can see everything here. Let's go ahead and get in present mode. Here we go. And so basically, design your life. Like we always tend to take a look at goals and all those things is pretty much not inspiring, right? I mean, I think that when we sit down and uh, try to figure out what we want to do for 2023. It seems like it's just goal setting is just not reachable, not possible, or you always give up after the second week of January. And so I thought it'd be best to really talk about how to design your life, like to be intentional on what you want for you and yourself and your family, for your future. Like we don't necessarily sit down and really focus on this. So let's take a minute and do that. So as we go through, let's take a look at where are you now? Like how did 2022 go? What worked? What did not work? I really want you to sit down and write this out. Like get down with a piece of paper and spend the time focusing on this and doing this. Really what worked, what went really well for you, and maybe what did not work, and maybe it didn't work as well as you wanted it to, or it didn't meet your expectations. And be really clear about that. Like really write down what those expectations were and how that they were not met. Because if you were to go through and really be really clear on that, then it really has you change your mindset around what's happening and how you can move forward. Seriously, it really does help me. What goals did you hit? So if you started 2022, maybe you're new to doTERRA in 2022 and you didn't even have that in your horizon, but maybe you want to be able to reach some financial security, especially after the pandemic. So many people have been dealing with, maybe their credit cards are a lot higher than they want them to be. Maybe they lost their job during the pandemic. Maybe they want to change their mindset and goals of what they're doing. Um, so really go through and look at what goals did you hit? Like what was that? What rank advancement did you make? So maybe you started doTERRA, and sometimes those younger ranks are really just, you can jump through them pretty quickly if you have a nice network of people. And maybe sometimes that doesn't go as well as you'd like it to, right? What is your doTERRA income this year? Like if you are part of doTERRA right now, what income are you generating with being a doTERRA member? And one thing to keep in mind is usually when you're first getting started with a business, it's really hard to get that momentum. Like you get that one person, and then that one person turns into three people, and then each of those three people invites six people, and then pretty soon you have that momentum going. And so what is that right now? Okay. And how many people are on your team? Maybe it's just one, or maybe you have 500. I know on my team this last year, it like tripled in volume as far as how many people were there. So I'm very excited about that. Now, look at those people who joined your team and look at how many leaders you have versus customers. And with doTERRA, we usually look at about 80% of the people who are purchasing are customers. And so we love our customers, right? And then you want to take a look at what the retention rate is. Like doTERRA likes to say that we have about 60 to 65% retention. And I know that's probably different from different markets, depending on what products are available. However, this is a real good focus place for you to take a look at and see what your skill sets are about helping people with the retention of ordering on their accounts from month to month to month and being active loyalty rewards member. So what rank do you want to reach in 2023, right? What rank is that? So let's take a look and go through and evaluate. What needs to happen to reach that rank? So maybe it's gold. Maybe you want to be a founding member of doTERRA and you want to be a gold member. What needs to happen for you to get to that rank? So what rank are you now? How many rank jumps up is that? What is the volume, your team volume required to make that rank? How many customers are you going to need? So when you look at 80%, 20%, how many customers will that be with what volume of PVs are ordering every month? Like how many team members is that? How many? So if you have 80% customers, 20% team members, and then, when you talk about that multiplication and that duplication process where you invite one person as a team member and they invite 3 people, and then those 3 people invite 9 people. And then as it starts to create some momentum, who team leaders do you need to involve to help you have reach that rank? And I want to say that differently. How about who do you need to involve to help teach them reaching their ranks? Don't make it about you and the rank you need. Make it about your team members downline and how you can help them actually achieve those ranks and their goals. So take this point that you may want to share this PowerPoint with them and actually help mentor them to see what their goals are and how they can reach them too. Break this down in a structure. So I break down so you know what are all the requirements needed to hit this rank, right? What are all the requirements? So maybe you need another team, maybe, like another leg or 2 more legs. Maybe you need to have your downline each have 2 legs. So what is the requirements to hit that? Like how much volume is that going to require? Where's that volume at right now? Write everything down, plan it out. Like as you go through and plan it out, you will find that will be like paving the road for you to drive your car down, right? So the more detailed you are with that, the more study you do, the best it is. And I really like to use the power of 3 chart to write down my leaders structure. And so maybe that might be a good way for you to get started that way as well. Then you're going to want to take a look and design your business plan. To achieve your goal rank, you're going to want to take inventory, like maybe who your customers may have dropped. Maybe you weren't so good at supporting them on a wellness consult every month. Maybe they need more support than what you provided them, right? So do a wellness check, call them up and say, gosh, I was new at doing doTERRA and I didn't know that I would love to be able to teach you how to reach your health goals by doing a wellness consult. Let's schedule one, and then we can schedule one every month if you like, or one once every 6 months, depending on your goals and how you want to reach them. And then, everybody has potential, and you can do, there's some people who can do things on their own, but they need to see the pathway first and understand how to order on their website, how to use their cards or their payment gateway system. They want to maybe know and understand different oils and maybe what those resources are. So really plugging in, take inventory on who you want to schedule and get going on that. And then check with your leaders. Are you scheduling mentorship calls with them on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis? What are the rank advancements that those people need to be able to help them grow their ranks? So like who wants to do the business that you may not even know about, right? Are you doing business classes? It's a numbers game, you guys. So what volume is needed? So when you're talking about the OV volume, how many builders are needed? How many customers are needed? How many new legs are needed? So really write this business plan out, like I was saying, and then take a look at what promotions are available in 2023. Maybe you might want to design your own promotions to have ready to go when doTERRA doesn't have one, that's going to help you reach those ranks that you want to on that quick basis. A lot of times we're taught to create incentives for our leaders so that way the leaders can help reach those goals and ranks. All these things are ways to help wrap our head around the game that we're trying to do to create volume and ranks and help you be financially independent. So, really, all businesses is conversations. So, you want to ask yourself if you were to have a class with 10 people or maybe have 10 separate appointments, whatever, how many people on average will join when you talk to 10 people? So, like, how many team members will you have from that? How many customers will you gain from that? So, in order to get 10 people to the class, how many appointments do you need to make? Like, well, we talked about 10, right? But do all 10 sign up? And so, how many conversations does that end up being? So, conversations would be something like, social media posts, giving a call, texting someone, emailing someone, all those things. It's working best to actually give someone a phone call or actually meet them face to face. So you're having that interaction. Phone call is second. Third is maybe a text to invite them to a phone call. Third is maybe a three-way call. Fourth is texting on social media. So you really want to actually look at each one of these conversations as a touch point on how you connect with people. So if you were to say all businesses are conversation and you met with 10 people, you probably could get one team member out of that. Maybe out of that, you would have 3 customers and one team member out of those 3 customers. Now that is a pretty aggressive. I think sometimes maybe you may not get any team members or only one enrollment, right? But it would take you 10 appointments with those prospects or 10 touches. So 10 people at one class or 10 appointments. And it's guessed to say that that might be around 50 conversations that you would have. Now, let's take a minute and think about this. So if you need to have 10 team members, 10 leaders on your team to help you reach the goal that you want to make this coming year, then what needs to happen? What needs to happen to be able to have 10 team members? So with the simple math that we've done, if you need 10 team members, then this is what needs to happen. You need to have 500 conversations. See, down here I have 500 conversations. You need to have 100 prospect appointments, 100 people at a time, or 10 classes of 10 people, or 5 classes of 20 people. Now think about that. How much time does it take you to meet one person at a time versus having a class of 20 people or having a class of 50 people? Now, you're not going to be able to do a class of 50 people right off the get-go. It's best to always try to get your team leaders, the people you know, from writing down your list of names and going through and evaluating that list of names. That list of names is all the people you know in your life, all the contacts you have, all the people you've met. And then you go through and evaluate them to see if they're going to be really powerful, good leaders that meet your criteria. That criteria could look like that they're coachable, that they do the work, that they teach classes, that they have a big network of people, that they know how to do computers or social media or have a bank account, that they have a credit card. I mean, a lot of these things could be a criteria for you. For me, it's important that they know English, right? That may not be important to you. So write down your list of what an actual team member looks like, and then know that you're looking for 10 of them, if that's your goal to reach gold and you just got started, that you need 10 leaders. If you go through and have 500 conversations, can you see that if you already have maybe one leader, that conversation list actually turns down to be 250 each? If you have 5 leaders already, then that's only 100 conversations each. So you can see how making this duplication process could be much more effective and powerful for you. Now, I'm going to go on the limb here and say that if you had 500 conversations over 2 weeks' time, let's say that's 25 a day. Actually, it's 50 a day over 10 days, let's say. You would get very polished at how to approach people and what to say. Now, if you took that over 6 months' time, then it's harder to get polished. It's harder to know what to say. It's harder to follow your lead and be consistent. So it's really important when you first get started to actually consider really running with it right away so that that way you can find your foundation and start getting that momentum going. Now, as we go through and look at this, consider, like I'm saying, considering your time frame and shortening it. How to reach more people in a shorter amount of time. 50 conversations a week versus 50 conversations a day. So, what can you schedule to do 50 conversations? Can you do that in a day? Can it be done in 2 days? Do you have your list formulated so that you can easily and quickly go through that and give everybody a call? Do you know what there is to say? How are you setting up your structures to be able to make these commitments happen on a faster time frame? So also consider what also needs to happen is um, skills that are needed to achieve this desired rank. Now, I'm going to say that some of you may be really good at talking in front of people, and that is a very much a great skill to have, right? But maybe there's hidden skills that you're not even aware of to be able to reach that gold rank or that diamond rank. And doTERRA has some really great paperwork regarding skills that are needed for each rank. So, for example, when you get to the elite rank, you really want to be believing in the product. Product belief is so important. When you get to premier, then the next rank belief system that you need to have is about the company. And so, if you're having struggles with a belief about the company or belief about the product, then it's going to be very difficult for you to rank up. What systems do you need? Like, do you need an onboarding checklist? Do you need a welcome letter? Do you need an onboarding training system? What habits do you need? Are you doing these calls consistently on a day-to-day basis? Are you doing classes on a weekly basis? So what habits are you going to need to be able to count on yourself to make this work? What are doTERRA promotions that you can actually promote? How are you leading with these promotions? How are you uh, helping your downline, your current customers understand and know about these promotions? And then also, it's so important to know what events to promote. Like, doTERRA has been so amazing in India, going around and doing these post-Indian tours and different tours. They've done like 4 so far in 2022. That's really incredible. And this makes it a lot easier for you to be able to help your customers build the belief because they can see they can see the corporate culture and all that stuff like that. So it's really great. Um, but make sure you have an idea of when those are and how to plan around that and set everybody up to attend those. So design your life, you guys. What would it look like to have your desired income? So I think as a society, we have stopped dreaming because we've got so many negative things going on. We've stopped really believing in ourselves. We become more, I don't know what the word is, but it seems like disenchanted with the ability to dream. If you were to have your dream home, what would it look like if you were to travel the world? What would it look like if you were able, excuse me, able to have your children go to the desired college of their dreams and that you could pay for it with no problem? What fun things would you like to do and when would you achieve these goals? What is your net worth? How much have you invested in your net worth? A lot of times we don't even think about this. And so I would like you to consider updating your dream board. And it's amazing how this past year for me, I've met like 3 or 4 things already on there. I spoke on stage at India convention. That was such a big dream of mine. Um, it was a short little stint, but I was there, I made it happen. And my next goals is to be able to be a count onable leader for India or even in the United States to be an actual leader where they actually call up and say, Becky, will you teach this class? Will you do that? How about you? Is that something that you desire to do? Maybe not, but maybe you do desire to have a diamond income or presidential diamond income. And maybe you have a dreams to really reach that very quickly. So you really want to go back and look at what are your goals, and are you including fun time? Are you including you looking at your financial worth and where you are and how those goals are being achieved throughout the months? And I'm always going through and working on my day timer and trying to figure out all these different goals right now. So it's really kind of fun to put those goals in place. And then actually goals will not work unless you have an emotion attached to it. So thinking about traveling the world or having your children reach college of their dreams, if those are your goals, then really put them out there in front of you so that emotion of them doing that is actually what drives you on a day-to-day basis to be able to reach your habits and get things done. So again, what is the accountability structure do you have? So are you using your mentor, your upline as your mentor? Now, maybe you don't connect with your upline as well as you'd like to, and so reach up to the next person above them and go through and find what works best for you if it's a weekly basis or a monthly basis. But if you really have some aggressive goals, then plan in your structure to meet with your mentor on a weekly basis. I feel that weekly basis work best because then that way you can keep them short. They can be 5-10 minutes. They're more in bite-sized chunks so that you can actually move forward easier. This will also set you up and train yourself to mentor your downline. Weekly is best, but maybe just meet where they are. Ask them what their goals are. Go through and ask them what their dreams are and if they really want to build and dream their life so that way they could see how doTERRA can help them fulfill those dreams. Creating these habits and these structures in place for integrity, putting them on your calendar. What is your follow-up system and how are you putting yourself there to stick to it? So one of the things that I've noticed is integrity. I feel that over these past couple of years with the lockdown and all these things that people have kind of lost their way. And Um, integrity means the definition of integrity really is honoring your word. And when I say that, it just really inspires me. But the whole breadth of integrity is nothing hidden, being truthful, being honest, doing complete work, and being your word and going through and having this integrity conversation and being a stand that you have integrity. Now, not all of us are going to have integrity all the time, right? Nobody does. Sometimes we miss an appointment. So what you do is you call up and say, I'm not going to be able to make that appointment. Let's reschedule on something that works both great for both of us, okay? That is creating and recommitting your integrity and showing up on time. People have an expectation of you as a leader and what that looks like. Are you being that person? Are you being someone that you would want to follow? And if not, that's something that you can take a look at and put in your schedules and plans to help you with your mindset to work around that. Believe me, we're human and it's almost like our job and we have this little committee in our head that tells us don't do that, it's okay, they won't notice, or it talks us out of stuff all the time. And you have to fire that little committee in your head that does not serve you and recommit to your integrity on a daily basis. Sometimes we have to recommit our integrity on an hourly basis, right? But life does not work when you're out of integrity. So the beautiful thing is you can recommit and move forward, recommit and move forward. Um, you know, the one thing too I want to say about this is that integrity is not yours. What I mean by that is a lot of people have an expectation of me, even though I said I would not do it. And as a leader, that expectation is there. They can call me up and say, hey, I expected you to do this, even though you said you wouldn't do it, but that should be your job because you're a leader. So how many conversations in your life are around something like that that you said you would not do it, or you didn't say that you would not do it, but everybody else is expecting you to. So communication is really important. And having complete integrity around that communication isn't something that is very hard to do. Like if you did something wrong, ah, just say, hey, I did this wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. Let me redo that, or let me recommit, or let me just go ahead and fix that for you real quick. And then things move forward, right? But if you ignore it, it grows and it starts stinking like sewage. And so when we were also on part of our excursion, we were waiting and waiting for people to show up for a meeting that was supposed to start at a specific time. And everybody was late, 2 hours late. I'm not talking 5 minutes late. I'm not talking 15 minutes late. I'm not talking an hour late. I'm talking 2 hours late. And there's no integrity in that. How do you expect to build a business when you're showing up when it's convenient to you? And so the integrity part of that too is that maybe that just was not a good time for the meeting. And when you noticed that meeting announcement, did you go through and say, hey, this time is not going to work. Let's recommit to a different time and repost that. Those things are what's are expected to be a leader. And so taking a look at your integrity, you will find so much power around this and so much freedom. So achievement does happen. When I started with doTERRA full time in India back in 2020 in March, we actually having leaders on my team to reach gold or silver just seemed so far fetched. And I had a rough start. It was very difficult to find people who are willing to build or buy product. It was during the pandemic, everybody was freaking out. But look at our beautiful team that we have now in India. We've got 2 gold members, we have 2 silver members, and such a beautiful team with all these different uh, ranks of premier and elites. And here is at convention, it's not even a small number, a fraction of who showed up for convention. And next year, my goal is to have 3 times as many at convention, if not 4 times. Wouldn't that be fun? And so the only limitation is your imagination. And so if you're willing to look at the conversations going on in your head where you have the doubter person, no, you can't do that. Why are you doing that? This is stupid. Are you willing to fire that person? Are you willing to fire that conversation and lean into the conversation of like, wow, you're amazing. You're a beautiful leader. You're making such a big difference and impact for so many people in India or in the United States or wherever you are in the world. One person at a time needs your voice. They need to hear what these beautiful oils can do for themselves in their life. And so, congratulations to you. Honor that, honor your word, honor who you are for those people. And so I just wanted to thank you and let you know that you've got this. I totally believe in you. I feel that this is just one of the most crazy things I've done in my life is started doTERRA back in 2013, and I had no idea where I'd be today. And just go with it. Just go with it and know that your expectations there, if you put them out there, you'll be on the right path. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and all in on oils, everybody. And I look forward to an amazing 2023. God bless you, and you have a good evening.